Ooh, welcome everyone to another hashtag SSS pod, Suplexes, scores, and save points. And today, as you can see if you're watching, we are talking the 2020 WWE Draft. That's going to basically be the main focal point of this show. We will discuss the week that did happen in wrestling. We pushed this back because we wanted to discuss the entire draft all in one video instead of splitting it up. I am Ryan, and as always, I am being joined by my co-host, Nathan.
It wasn't my fault. Oh, Gene Pisky for you.
That was pretty good. So, as I said, we are going to be discussing the draft. We're going to be giving our reactions. We'll be going pick by pick. And we'll be talking about everything draft. We're going to kick it off with that, a little bit different than a normal podcast where we go, in order of the shows. But we decided the draft was kind of a big thing. And we wanted to just start off with this and talk about everything that happened because there's a lot to talk about. This was something. So obviously the draft started on SmackDown. Was day one. It kind of was weird to do it that way, but I understood why. I guess they didn't want like a 4-day gap between draft days, I guess.
Makes sense, I guess.
I still said this, if they're going to do a draft every year, it needs to just be a freaking network special every year.
Yeah.
But whatever.
What's the point of having the network if you ain't going to use it?
Yeah. So the draft worked as usually every other draft works. And for every 2 picks SmackDown gets, Raw receives 3. That would be the round 1 would be all 5 of those picks. Each round is 5 picks. We'll go round by one and we'll talk about each round, I guess, in order as we talk about it. So round 1 of SmackDown. There's one thing I don't get, and Raw, I don't understand it. Raw gets the number 1 overall pick, both nights.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how that's, in kayfabe reasons, fair. I know they're 3 hours, but how is it determined that they get the first pick every single round, every time? It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty messed
up. It didn't make sense to me. So, with the first overall pick, it was Raw, and of course they took WWE champion Drew McIntyre. No surprise, they're gonna take their champion. And I didn't expect too many people to switch brands here. Honestly, I kind of didn't expect.
But they did.
They did switch a lot. But I didn't expect many of the champions. We'll get into that later. The second pick was SmackDown, and they took Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Again, no-brainer. With the third pick of the first round, Raw took Asuka, the Raw Women's Champion. Again, no-brainer. SmackDown took Seth Rollins, which was a pretty big one, poaching Seth Rollins from Raw to go to SmackDown. And at this time, I was like, oh, maybe that storyline will end. But we will get to that a little bit later. And with the final pick of the first round, Raw took The Hurt Business, all 4 of them. So they've got 4 for the price of one.
What a load of shit that was.
Yeah. Raw took 4 people. I mean, it's just kind of... That first round, really no surprises other than Seth Rollins. I was surprised that The Hurt Business went that high. But I guess it is 4 people, so it kind of makes sense to take them high. But... yeah. I still don't get it. I don't know how Raw can get 2 picks, or how they get the first pick every single time. And I don't know how they determine, I know this is fake. I get it. I know it's wrestling. But how do they determine I just don't get it. I don't know. I don't know how when they supposedly the executives put their picks in, and how do they know what the other team? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. None of this draft makes sense. If you're looking at it from a realistic sports standpoint, if you're looking at it as this is real, it makes no sense at all. This draft
No.
makes no sense. The orders and the rules are ridiculous. There's no rhyme or reason for like them picking people or for like it, and it's only certain people eligible for certain days, and it was just all over the place.
It was stupid. All right, what's the next 5? Let's just roll through them here.
So the next 5, Raw again, of course, had the first pick. They took AJ Styles. So AJ once again gets drafted. I am pretty sure he's been drafted every single draft. I'm pretty sure he's moved back and forth every year. SmackDown keeps Sasha Banks around. Naomi went from SmackDown to Raw. Really surprising to see Naomi go that high.
Available on this draft?
What?
Was Bailey not available?
Yeah, she was not available. She was not available till Monday. Yeah, so that's why people were confused. And then SmackDown took Bianca Belair. So I think SmackDown won that between Naomi and Bianca. I think SmackDown won that swap. And then Raw took the SmackDown the women's tag team champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So again, Raw gets 2 for the price of 1. Right now, SmackDown's being like their picks are stupid. But anyway, round 3, you had the first pick of round 3 be Ricochet staying on Raw. Jey Uso stays on SmackDown. Mandy Rose stays on Raw because that would have been absolutely idiotic to move her back to SmackDown. And then you had Rey and Dominic go from Raw to SmackDown, and then Miz and Morrison go from SmackDown to Raw. So not only did SmackDown take Seth Rollins, they also took Rey and Dominic. So that storyline can just keep on rolling. It can keep on going for forever.
Yeah.
We're just gonna continue it for as long as we can.
So stupid.
And then they only had 4 rounds on SmackDown. Round 4 was The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, who had just won the tag team titles, the SmackDown tag team titles, were drafted to Raw, while Big E was drafted to SmackDown. I don't understand the logic of that. Why would Raw just say, hey, we don't want all 3. We just want Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods?
So stupid.
It wouldn't, see, this was dumb. They should have switched the order.
Especially since the hurt business did it. Why couldn't the new
They should have switched the order, had SmackDown go first and say, we want just Big E because we see big things in his future. I can see that. But if Raw has the first pick, why the hell would they not take all 3 of them? Stupid.
Or why wouldn't anybody take all 3 of them? If you can take a whole faction, why would you take a whole faction?
It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, to round this out, Dana Brooke stayed on Raw, Otis stayed on SmackDown, Angel Garza stayed on Raw. No changes there. So the big shock of the night was obviously the New Day, I guess, splitting up, even though they didn't break up. They're just on 2 different shows now. The SmackDown Tag Team Championships go to Raw.
The big match that really happened on this show was Big E and Sheamus in a nasty no disqualification match. I mean, they beat the crap out of each other.
That match was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. I loved every minute of that match. Sasha and Bayley also had a match, and it ended in a disqualification, which is leading to them at Hell in a Cell. But yeah, Sheamus and Big E was brutal. It was great, and it showed Big E does have the capability of being a single star. And we just said it made sense for like SmackDown to be like, we really want him, but why wouldn't Raw want him? It doesn't. He's proven he can be a single star, so Raw's like, we don't want him. Well, SmackDown made him a deal. Maybe SmackDown made him a deal. And we're like, yo, we want Big E. You can take the other 2, but give us Big E. I don't know.
Yeah, it was stupid.
That was the only 2 matches that were worth anything on that show. On Talking Smack on the next night, they announced one more.
Oh, wait. Before you get to that, Lars Sullivan came back on SmackDown.
Yeah, big old Lars came out and attacked Hardy and Riddle and Miz and Morrison too. Yeah, it was okay. seeing him back, but he's once again in trouble again. So I don't get it.
All right. I don't either. He's an idiot. All right. So what are the next picks that were announced on Talking Smack?
So they had the 5th round on Talking Smack. The first pick was Humberto Carrillo staying on Raw. Even in the supplemental draft, Raw gets the first pick. Humberto stays on Raw. Murphy also goes to SmackDown. So they took the entire storyline and moved it to SmackDown. They were like, we're just moving all of you over. Drew Gulak, who's listed as a SmackDown superstar, but has been wrestling on Raw lately, is officially now, I guess, on Raw.
Yeah.
And Kalisto, not the entire Lucha House Party, but SmackDown was like, no, we don't want numbers. We want one of you. Kalisto by himself was drafted to SmackDown, and Raw took Tucker. But they break up Heavy Machinery, which again, why wouldn't SmackDown just take them both? You can take them both, even if you see nothing in Tucker. It's like, might as well. Like, I don't know.
They should have made some. They should have made some reasons of why. They should have had some better logic on this stuff.
Like, they should have had at least someone representing the networks or something to explain why the hell they didn't just take all 3 members of it New Day, or why they just took Otis, why they just took Kalisto. Like it.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get to Raw, so then I can give my overall view of this draft, because I got some stuff to say.
Night 1 of Raw, or night 2, basically, the first round, The Fiend was the number 1 pick for this round. He went from SmackDown to Raw. Like I said, Raw event again gets the first pick again. Bayley stays on SmackDown. Again, though, if you were Raw, why would you not take Bayley and have both women's championships on your show?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense.
They should have SmackDown go first on that one.
Yeah, they should have. This order makes no sense. Anyway, Randy Orton stays on Raw. The Street Profits go from Raw and SmackDown, so they just flip-flop the tag teams. And Charlotte.
Yeah, in-house. Go ahead.
That's it. Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. Which was random. Apparently she's either coming back or something, because why would they have her in the draft pool?
Yeah, so
because a lot of the other people weren't in the draft pool. But
they didn't have guys like Mojo Rawley or guys. But yeah, they didn't have guys like Mojo Rawley and guys like that who were, inactive, haven't been on the show in a while in the draft pool. But Charlotte was, which made no sense to me. But,
yeah, made no sense. But anyway, since you talked about the tag team champions, so the Raw tag team champions went to SmackDown, the SmackDown tag team champions went to Raw, and how did they solve this? They just swapped titles.
They did a flip-flop, slip-slop, and they just gave the – so here's the thing now. The Street Profits are technically now Triple Crown tag team champions, and they just were handed the SmackDown titles.
Yeah.
And the New Day are now 8-time or 7-time, whatever the hell, tag team champions, because they were just handed another run. So their SmackDown title run was a 3-day run. They held those belts for 3 days.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It's ridiculous. It made no sense. It was the worst way to do it. I hate it when they just hand people championships. You could have been like, you got to put them up. I know they said the championships go with them, so it's like, championships go with them. They're just SmackDown champions on Raw.
Yeah, it was stupid.
And that's the problem when you have colored and you have belts that are named SmackDown and Raw. Because this shit happens and they're like, oh, we don't have an out. Flip-flop them. It's so ridiculous. Could you imagine if the Universal title went back to Raw and they would have had to repaint it red again?
Oh, no.
So stupid. So, yeah, that was the dumbest thing they did on this show. There was a lot on this draft, but that was probably the worst. So, round 2, Raw, again, gets the first pick. They took Braun Strowman, so Strowman once again gets moved as well. I'm pretty sure he's been drafted every single year to the new show, too. Daniel Bryan was drafted by SmackDown, a guy who hasn't wrestled in about 3 months. Gets drafted above, I don't know, guys like Keith Lee, Sami Zayn, Cesaro.
Yeah.
Or this guy, Matt Riddle, who's on your show every week, goes to Raw. Because, SmackDown would rather take a guy who's not on their show than a guy that is on the show every freaking week. SmackDown did get Kevin Owens, so that's good. And then Jeff Hardy also went to Raw. So the Riddle-Hardy, tag team can continue, I guess. Then Lars Sullivan attacked them again for no reason. Matt Riddle and Jeff Hardy wrestled at some point on the show, and then Lars Sullivan attacked him, and then he's attacked Miz, Morrison, Hardy, and Riddle, and they're all on Raw, and he goes to SmackDown in this draft. So, and it just doesn't. None of this made sense.
Nothing. This is like the worst I have ever seen WWE. I don't know what the fuck was going on when they wrote these shows. I don't know if Vince McMahon was just making picks left and right and then figuring out what was going to happen later. I don't know.
I remember when they did the 2016 draft or whatever, when they finally redid it and they mixed it. I remember that being a cluster hell. It was cluster hell because there was a pay-per-view the next Sunday. And they did which is Hell in a Cell was in 2 weeks. So it was basically the same thing this time. But they had a pay-per-view right after the draft and it screwed everything up. But this is absolutely chaotic. Everything that happened on this.
Yeah.
So the third round started off with Retribution being drafted number 1. So again, Raw gets a 5-person stable.
Yeah, you got 2 stables in WWE, and they both go to Raw.
Raw's just been cleaning up on this. I know they have the longer show, but Jesus.
Any NXT call-ups need to go to SmackDown. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so like I said, the second pick of the third round was Lars Sullivan going to SmackDown. Keith Lee goes to Raw. He stays on Raw. King Corbin stays on SmackDown, and Alexa Bliss went from SmackDown to Raw. It's the only shocking one. Everything else on that round was all just everybody staying where they were, essentially. So, Alexa also debuted on this show. Elias came back on this show. He attacked Jeff Hardy. So Jeff Hardy's just been attacked every single week.
He's like the punching bag.
And I mentioned that because Elias went number 1 overall in the 4th round. He went back to Raw. So he's no longer on SmackDown. It took till round 4 for the Intercontinental Champion to be drafted. That is outrageous.
Yeah. Shows how much they see in Sami Zayn.
But Sami Zayn was drafted the second pick of the 4th round. The Intercontinental Championship stays on SmackDown. I mean, Raw could have took him at any point and been like, hey, we got both mid-card titles now.
I know it.
Again, does not make sense. After Sami Zayn, it was Lacey Evans going from SmackDown to Raw. SmackDown took Cesaro and Shinsuke as a team. And Sheamus goes from SmackDown to Raw. So Raw's been cleaning up on this draft. SmackDown's been losing a bunch.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
5th round was Nikki Cross going from SmackDown to Raw. I kind of figured she'd stay on SmackDown to keep her away from Alexa, but no, let's just put her over there with her again. They just don't know how to end storylines. These things are just going to keep going forever. Ziggler and Rude go to SmackDown, which was funny because they fought for the Raw Tag Team titles on the show and then ended up going to SmackDown because why not? R-Truth stays on Raw. Apollo goes from Raw to SmackDown. And Dabo Kato was drafted to Raw. Over guys like Andrade.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah.
So let's do the last round.
And then the last round was Titus O'Neil. For some reason, goes drafted to Raw.
Why was he in the draft pool?
I don't know. Carmella goes to stays on SmackDown. Peyton Royce gets drafted to Raw. Aleister Black goes to SmackDown. Again, that's a shame that Aleister Black went this late. That is a shame.
Yeah.
And Akira Tozawa goes to Raw.
He was the last pick of SmackDown.
Yeah, Aleister Black was picked 29. 29.
Did Billy Kay get drafted?
She got drafted in the supplemental. Actually, she did not get drafted. She got picked up in free agency, which I'll get to. They did, after the show, they did one more round on Raw Talk. Lana stayed on Raw. Natalya went to SmackDown. Riddick Moss on Raw. The Riot Squad went to SmackDown. And Arturo Rujas was drafted to Raw. Those Raw Underground picks, man, I tell you, they were just...
Yeah. So when did Billy Kay get... when did this free agency thing happen?
So the free agency were done, you know, throughout after Friday, anyone in draft pool that was not drafted could get signed, and then after Monday. So after SmackDown, Shorty G was undrafted. He went to SmackDown. The other two members of the Lucha House Party were signed to Raw because, you know, SmackDown decided not to draft them and then decided not to even pick them up for whatever reason. Billy Kay went to SmackDown after Raw. See, there's the thing that makes sense. Eric stayed on Raw even though he's injured. Why was he even in the draft pool? He's injured.
No. Eric's not the one injured.
He had surgery too. He had a little bit of surgery, but he's injured too. I know Ivar's the one that had the serious injury, but Eric stays on Raw. Tamina stays on SmackDown, and Zelina Vega went to SmackDown as well because Aleister Black went there, which was kind of surprising. And Andrade was undrafted and unsigned yet. So as far as we know, Andrade is not on any brand.
Him and Mickey James were the only two that were in a draft pool that did not get signed.
Yeah, so there was some other people. The Forgotten Sons, obviously, not included in any of the draft pools. Mojo, Bo Dallas, Jimmy Uso, Jinder Mahal. They were all not in a draft pool. Mickey James and Andrade are the only two in a draft pool that were not.
Becky Lynch wasn't in the draft pool.
And Big Show is listed as well, but he's not there either.
Wow, Big Show, Undertaker.
Of everybody in the draft, everybody in the draft pool, Andrade and Mickey were the only two undrafted. There's still quite a few people who are unsigned, but we'll see what they do.
So
now we get
Raw picked up 22 male wrestlers, not in tag teams, and then they also picked up 5 teams. 2 of which are stables.
Yeah.
So they got like 30-something male wrestlers. SmackDown got 15 singles male wrestlers, and they got 2 tag teams. Or 3 tag teams. 3 tag teams. Wow, 4. Dominic. So, yeah. And, okay, so on SmackDown, your top faces, Ryan.
Yeah.
Are Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Who has not wrestled in 3 months.
Yep.
Kevin Owens, which I like. That's a good one. And then you have Rey Mysterio, who is old and does not need to be a tough guy.
Woo!
And then you have Big E, which is okay. I guess he's going to be the new top guy. That's cool. That's all right. I like it. But after that, you got Dominic Mysterio. You got
Otis.
And then you got the freaking Street Profits and Shorty G.
And Kalisto. Yep.
And I think that's it. Those are your faces.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, that is not looking good for the face of it. I'm just saying.
No. I mean,
because I was like, what the heck, man? Because Raw took, you know, they took Strowman, they took Riddle, they took Hardy. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, heel side, hey, you forgot the biggest face of them all, Jey Uso.
No, but yeah.
But SmackDown, you know, with heels, they've got Roman, Seth,
Oh, and you had the Lucha House Party. My bad.
No, they went to Raw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind.
Kalisto's the only one over there now. For heels, they've got Roman, Seth, Murphy, Lars Sullivan, King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Cesaro and Shinsuke, Ziggler and Rude. I guess they do have Apollo on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Apollo. Okay, he could be I guess he could be a top guy.
Aleister Black. That's it.
But Aleister Black is technically a heel, so and Owens is over there, so I don't see him becoming a face if Owens is over there. So here's the thing. You're gonna have to have some NXT call-ups, and they're gonna have to be some good guys, because
but they don't have anybody.
Yeah, because SmackDown is.
I don't know.
That is. I wanted
this whole draft. I knew it was going to be stupid. I knew it was going to be felt like something that was rushed without a need for. I didn't know it was going to be an actual draft. I thought it was going to be a shakeup. I really didn't think they were actually going to just everyone be eligible. I thought it was just going to be, they're going to just switch people around.
No, this was madness.
Yeah, I wanted Keith Lee to go SmackDown, honestly, but I understand why
he should have,
because they have Big E over there, which is going to fill that role. But
yeah, but
the only thing I can see from the New Day thing is if this leads, and I've been saying this to myself, I haven't really said it, but I'm hot take right here. Big E is winning the Royal Rumble, and I think that's where they're heading. I'm hoping. I hope Vince doesn't lose faith, and I hope he doesn't change his mind, because Big E was taken out of that fatal five-way match when Jey Uso won. I think that was done to keep him away from the title scene, keep him away from Roman for a while. But if that's where this leads, I'm okay with it. If it doesn't lead to Big E getting a world title, then it was all for nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
There's no point in switching them if it doesn't mean Big E's getting to be the man, the face of the, which he still could have done with the New Day. He didn't have to break him up to make him the big star.
Well,
but
that's WWE for you. This isn't AEW, Ryan. They can't be in stables and singles at the same time.
Kofi was.
He was the rare exception. I think it's only because the New Day have so much pull.
Well, then, if they have so much pull, yeah, like, what the hell? I mean,
they got hurt, Ryan. Do you know what happens? When you get hurt, you lose your pool.
The reaction that they had, I think, was legitimate. I really don't think they knew where they were going, because they're good actors if they pulled that. Because if it was like pick drafts in the past, no one knew exactly where they were going. They found out when we found out.
Yeah.
So
it was bizarre. My overall reaction was I did not like it.
It was all right. I mean, I was into it, and some of the people who got moved, I was into Seth until Ray and Dominic also left. I was into some of the people who got moved, but a lot of it was people just staying. Like, they didn't move too many people to make,
Well, you couldn't, because if you move too many people, then you just have the same show you had the other show.
You got The Fiend and Braun, which I think they should have kept separate. Riddle moving was okay. I knew he was going to move as soon as Seth went to SmackDown, because apparently those two don't get along. But yeah, it was It could have just been hey, we're just going to do some trades or something. It didn't need to be a whole spectacle.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous.
This was not something that was worth doing, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that is
all right.
That's our thoughts on the
week of wrestling. Because we had some good stuff throughout the week that was not complete another
chaos. Yeah. So we'll go kind of skim
right back to Monday.
We'll skim through the week that was and the week that I guess Monday just happened. We'll kind of.
You don't have to talk about Raw, because Raw really didn't matter. Let's go ahead into ROH.
So yeah,
going to the Ring of Honor.
We're still doing their
pure
title tournament. I have to go back last week because they just had a show, so I have to I gotta remember what happened the week. Yes, last week because we're doing this.
Yep.
So give me a second for that. But yeah, they're still doing their honor or their
pure tournament.
Pure, yeah, that thing. Had 2 more tournament matches on this show. First one was
the last of the first round.
Yes, Fred Yehai. Well, we did this one, didn't we?
No.
Okay. Fred Yehai versus Silas Young. Silas Young's the guy who looks about 50, but he's actually not that old. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He looks like he's been in wrestling for 70 years, but Fred Yehai does get the win with a roll up, and so Fred Yehai moves on.
Nah, this was wait, you're right. This was like week 1, right?
This is what they're saying was for October. Oh wait, October 3rd. Okay, so that was actually
that was a long time ago.
That was 2 weeks ago. So this is
because he got the upset win.
This is the first round matches. Okay. So never mind.
All right, edit all that out.
So ROH, the pure tournament going on. The tournament first round finals. We had Tracy Williams versus Russ Taylor. I have never heard of either of these people.
Tracy Williams. Tracy Williams is a good wrestler. He is in a tag team with I forgot what the other guy's name is. But he's in a tag team, but he's a really good wrestler, so I expected him to win this match.
And yeah, he got in with a crossface. He wins. So Russ Taylor taps out to Tracy Williams. Williams moves on to the second round. We had
Haskins.
Oh, Drew Haskins. Okay. The other match was Tony Deppen versus PJ Black, otherwise known as Justin Gabriel. Black and gets the win with a crucifix driver. So PJ Black moves into the second round as well. That was it. That was ROH. Not a lot that happened. That was the only 2 matches that happened on that week, which was last week. So
yeah, and I'd say that was probably the weakest of the matches that they've had.
Yeah, this week was not. Compared to the other weeks, this matches didn't live up to the other ones, but it was all right. Not every match is going to be, amazing.
Right, but it should get better because second round we're going to have some good matchups. So,
yeah. So we will move on to Tuesday. Or if anything, I don't think anything actually happened on Tuesday worth talking about. I mean, I have AEW Dark and
Impact.
I forget Impact.
Got to talk about Impact.
All right, well, send it over to Nathan for the Impact report.
So on Impact, they're building up their biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory, and on this show they finally made that tag team title match a fatal 4-way match, which I figured that's what it was going to be all along. They finally made it official.
Yeah, everybody was expecting that.
Yeah. The X Division champion, Raju, is now going to be forced to defend his X Division title in a 6-pack challenge. So that'll happen at Bound for Glory. Kylie Ray continued her feud for the championship with Deonna Purrazzo, who tried to break her best friend's arm, which is Young. What's her name?
Sue Young.
What does she go by when she's not Sue Young?
Susie.
She tried to break Susie's arm, and so, they said she did break her arm. So there you go. And so she went crazy and beat up Deonna Purrazzo, and then she felt bad about beating her up. So she's trying to get that mean streak, but it's hard for her because she's such a nice girl. So there you go. You had Fallah Ball. Everybody's trying to steal this roll of money that Hernandez has for some reason.
Heath Slater tried to steal it for his ads that he was running, and then now Fall of Boss steals it this week to pay for Johnny Bravo's bachelor party. So there's that. And then we had what I was looking forward to the most on this show was supposed to be the funeral for the TNA championship. And EC3 said he was going to burn it and all this stuff. Well, Moose wasn't even there. I don't know what happened with that. He didn't even show up. And then all we got was EC3 standing over a balcony in the middle of the woods. And he's like saying all kinds of, saying like a eulogy or whatever for the Impact title or the TNA title and all that. And then he just throws it into the woods. He didn't burn it. He just threw it into the woods. That's it. I was like, what was that? Yeah, there's that. We had apparently Ken Shamrock's is being hacked by Sami Callihan. Somehow he's hacking his brain and turning him into the crazy Ken Shamrock, and that's why he beat up Eddie Edwards. And now we're gonna have Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock at Bound for Glory. So whippy. And Rick Swann was rehabilitating his injury, and while he was in the rehabilitation center, he got attacked by Eric Young in the rehabilitation center. So there's that. Building up that title match, and I think that's about it for Impact.
What a clusterfuck of a show that is! Jesus Christ. Man, do they just let the wrestlers like book their own show? Like, they're just like, yeah, you guys can do what you want. Like, good Lord.
I'm guessing. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that that wedding is going to happen at Bound for Glory. I don't know.
You're gonna put that on pay-per-view?
I mean, I don't know.
Anyway, sounds like that show is 5 stars. We're gonna move on to Wednesday. We're gonna talk about NXT and AEW. We'll start with, as we always do, NXT, just because it's the one I watch live. So the show started off with Tommaso Ciampa and Kushida.
For the record, I watched the other one live, so there you
go. This show started off with Tommaso Ciampa and Kushida. This match was going to be a good one, but then Velveteen Dream got involved. He tried to hit Kushida, but he hit Ciampa, and then Kushida went crazy and destroyed Velveteen. So that was kind of shitty.
Yeah, it was a dumb ending.
We had the debut. We had Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus Ever Rise. Ever Rise, my favorite tag team in the world. They did lose, but they had great ass music. Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. It was fun. They win the match because Killian Dane powerbombed him onto a member of Ever Rise. They won the match. Maverick wanted to dance, but then Dane hit him again. So they're winning, but they don't like each other.
Just for the record, though, why? To go back to the previous match, why they literally ended that? Thought up they ended that feud.
Yeah.
And then Dream attacks me. I don't get that.
Yeah, it felt like that takeover. Kushida like put him away for good, but did make sense. But guess it's not over. Austin Theory beat off Leon Ruff, and then did a open challenge, and the returning Dexter Lumis came out, and Lumis beat him with the Uranagi, and then the choke, whatever. Then Cameron Grimes came out and attacked Lumis. So to the moon.
We got attacks left and right in this show.
Yeah, this show was just people beating each other up all night. And what was one of the bad match? Rich Holland and Andy Burch had a match. Holland won the match, and then afterwards, Oney Lorcan came out, and Holland shattered his leg. Is all the way to put it. He was legitimately injured. He was stretchered out. I think I saw that he broke his leg in like three or four different places. So
yeah, it was ugly.
Unfortunately, Holland will probably be out for a very, very long time. thoughts are with him.
These UK people, man, UK wrestlers that get pushes and then they get hurt.
I mean, it sucks. He was just getting pushed. He was just going to be I was starting to like him a lot, and then he goes and gets injured. And so our thoughts are with him. Hopefully, he has a speedy recovery, but obviously for a leg injury, it's never speedy. You look at Ember Moon was out for, 18 months. So Ember Moon did a promo during this night, and it led to a tag team main event of Rhea and her versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. But before that, Shotzi Blackheart beat up Xia Li because Shotzi's hosting Halloween Havoc, which will be in a couple weeks. They'll be doing an NXT Halloween Havoc because everyone hates when AEW does old WCW pay-per-views, so NXT is going to start doing it too.
Yeah.
Let's all just revive the past. And in the main event, Ember Moon and Rhea Ripley defeated Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. This was a weak episode of NXT. I'm not going to lie. You had Finn Balor injured. Kyle O'Reilly's injured. Adam Cole's injured. He got it was kind of a weak show compared to a lot of their other shows. So
right.
It was nice. Ember back. I liked it. I like seeing Ember Moon back.
She hit a good finisher. I mean, she hit it pretty good.
She still does it, which I didn't know if she was going to or not.
I cringed when she did it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, there were a couple moments and I was like, yeah, especially after Holland got injured. And I was like, oh crap. I don't want to see two injuries tonight.
Exactly.
So we'll move on to what was probably the better show this week, AEW Dynamite. I mean, it's not probably, it was the better show.
Yeah, it definitely was a better show. We had 3 title matches on this show.
Yeah, I can't throw the
3 title matches. We had a tag team title match with the Hybrid 2 getting the shot, which was random because they've not been ranked very high at all. They got this is probably the highest profile match they've had in AEW.
Yeah.
And it was a good match. It was their kind of match. Crazy madness, high flying, weird style. But in the end, Harwood and what's his new name? Cash
Wheeler and Dax Harwood.
They ended up getting the win. So they keep their tag team titles. We had a FTW championship match. The first time I think this has been defended.
On Dynamite. It was defended one time.
Oh, okay. Well, on Dynamite, it's the first time it's been defended on people that actually get to see it.
Yeah.
And then he fought a guy that was just a jobber about 3 weeks ago.
Yep, signed that.
And he has a really cool backstory. He has a really cool backstory that they never mentioned until now. And it was on commentary, and it was just like a throwaway line. And I'm like, wait a minute. So Will Hobbs, apparently him and his brother were going to be a manager wrestler duo, and his brother was going to be his manager when they were kids. And then apparently his brother got shot, jumped in front of a bullet that was meant for Will Hobbs. So his brother dies. And so now every time he wrestles, it's for his brother. And I'm like, that's freaking cool. They should have talked about that. But whatever. But anyway, it was a decent match. Pretty good match for Will Hobbs. He showed what he's got. But in the end, Ryan Cage keeps his FTW championship. We had a weird, definitely unscripted promo by Kenny Omega because it went too long and it didn't make it. It was really weird, and a lot of it was lies. Because he said that he's won all these tournaments, but I'm pretty sure the only tournament he's ever won is the G1, but okay. And then he said he's going to win this tournament, and then he's mentioned Cowboy's name about 4 or 5 different times for some reason. He just kept going on and on about it. So that shouldn't have happened at all. Kenny Omega, I don't know what happened to him, but he can't talk anymore all of a sudden. And then we had the dog collar match for the TNA. The the TNT Championship. It was brutal, bloody, brawling style match is what you expect from this kind of match. You had Greg the Hammer Valentine in the crowd, which is pretty cool because his most famous match is the dog collar match with Roddy Piper. Although with COVID right now, I don't know how cool that was to have him out in the crowd with no mask on.
Yeah, you know.
And then it was a brawl. Cody bled a lot because he's now Ric Flair, and he bleeds in every match. And then but he shockingly picks up the win over Brody Lee and takes back the TNT title.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this.
I didn't expect that.
The match was good. I just was not a fan of this ending.
I didn't really expect that.
No.
So now I'm wondering what's going to happen with Brody Lee. Is he going to start losing a lot, or are they just going to? Or is he gonna like get a big win over somebody else, or what's gonna happen? I figure maybe he'll go into a thing with Colt Cabana, maybe, but I don't know.
Maybe
it's kind of weird to have him lose like that.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but
and then also this was the 30 years of Jericho.
Speaking of something I didn't like.
Yeah. Well, what was weird about this is, he's almost basically all of his career, he's been in WWE or WCW.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to have one of these things and show highlights and stuff when all his highlights are from a thing that you cannot show.
Yep.
So they showed some Japan stuff, which he was not there very long. And then they showed AEW stuff, which it's like, okay, that just happened.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, not great. I like the celebrities that they had come on there, and that was okay. But everything else about it was kind of lame. And then they had the main event, which was
including this match.
The main event, which was supposed to be 30 years in the making. I could have waited another 30 years for this. Because it was not good.
This was terrible.
Apparently him and Luther, I guess Luther was his first match back in the day. And so they had this tag team match, and Jake Hager needs to quit wrestling apparently. Because he's not good anymore.
He's not good. Luther fell off the top rope at one point, and
he was blown up. Jericho was blown up.
Serpentico was just doing whatever.
He's green still, so
this was not. This was the main. I know this was the Jericho show, but damn, this should not have been a main event. The Cody match should have been main event.
The only good part about it was at the end of it, you had MJF come out and they did their little thing where they acted like they were going to fight each other. They gave him a poster of MJF, and MJF Jericho smashed it over somebody's head and all that.
Wow.
And that was okay. But other than that, it was not good.
See, and they did some stupid credit roll where Jericho basically said produced by Jericho, directed by Jericho. It was whatever. Technically this should have been the 1 year anniversary show. That's next week. They pushed the 1 year anniversary show to next week for Jericho's celebration. But next week there are actually going to be 4 title matches on AEW, which would be cool. All 4 titles are on the line, including the women's. It'll be Swole versus Shida. So next week's Dynamite will be good. This one, I like the show. I didn't like it as some of their other shows. Both these shows felt kind of down to me this week. You had good matches, but next week's gonna blow it away, obviously. But AEW was clearly the better show this week. I wasn't a fan of some of the stuff they did, but it was all right.
Yep. And then we got NXT UK. You want to talk about that?
So NXT UK is continuing their Heritage Cup tournament. Plus, they're continuing Ilja and Walter. They have a match upcoming at some point. I still don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
Man, my green screen's going all the shit right now. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so NXT UK started with a tag team match, women's tag team match. It was Zaya Brookside and Danny Luna versus Nina Samuels and Emily. I don't know how to. Yeah, Emily.
She was French.
Yeah, and it was surprisingly to see Zaya Brookside get the win because usually she don't win very often. But her and Danny Luna get the win. What happened to Candy? Whatever.
She's still there apparently because WWE trademarked her name, so she's still there. Candy Floss.
Candy Floss, yeah.
In UK talk means cotton candy is her name.
Okay. Saxton Huxley, who, when they're
used to be an NXT UK jobber, but now he's getting pushed.
He lost to Walter on their first show back, and now he beat Jack Stars. Cool
right.
Jobber, though. And a Heritage Cup opening round match. It was A-Kid and Flash Morgan Webster. This was really good.
It's a good match.
They had a Poison Rana spot. And it was A-Kid who won 2-0. Oh, no, Morgan Webster had a win.
Yeah. Yeah, he got a win.
Yeah, he did get a win. It was round 4. Webster tapped out and submissions in the match. So A-Kid gets the win and moves on to the second round. Kaylee,
I'm really liking this tournament.
This tournament is fun and it's really exciting. Kaylee Lay did a State of the Union address, and
it got me worried. I thought she was going to be another one that got injured and give up her title, and I was like, no.
It was chaos. Basically, the entire women came out, and Aofi Valkyrie was there, and Jenny, and just it delved into chaos.
It turned into a brawl, and Kaylee Ray got into the brawl, which made me feel a lot better because that means she's not completely injured. So she don't have to give up her title, thank God.
Yeah. So this was a pretty good show. This tournament is great. It's fantastic.
But overall, NXT UK was a good show.
It was very good. Really good. Tournament matches are, I hope it's good. You got good tournaments going on in all of wrestling right now. So it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So then we can move on.
Let's go into, we already talked about SmackDown. So I guess we can go into 205 Live.
What happened on that show, dude? It happened so long ago.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed 205 Live this week. I forgot about it with all the draft stuff. I completely forgot.
Yeah, here. I'll pull it up real quick. I know. So Jake Atlas wrestled. Jake Atlas defeated Arya Daivari by disqualification.
All right. Oh, by disqualification.
Yeah, Tony Nese came out and attacked him.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm assuming Everrise wrestled.
Huh?
I'm assuming Everrise probably wrestled.
No, but you know who did wrestle? It was the Brian Kendrick.
Okay.
Brian Kendrick wrestled Ashanti the Adonis.
Again. These two already wrestled once, and they wrestled again.
Yes, and it was Adonis getting the win over.
Holy crap! He finally won a match.
Yep. He rolled him up after Kendrick walked in the captain's hook, and he reversed out of it, rolled him up, and got the win. So
wow, he finally got his win.
Adonis finally gets a win. Yes.
All right. Now let's go into good old New Japan Strong, which you like to talk about.
Yes, it's becoming one of my every week shows that I watch. I just got to find the results. I don't remember. I watch it. I don't remember exactly what happens because
Well, you got that crazy tournament going
I
on
got
with
the
a bunch of
Lions-
guys that you don't know.
Yeah, the Young Lions Cup, which is why I kind of forget about it because it's bunch of people I don't.
Bunch of guys you don't know.
Yeah, so I don't really remember what happens.
And not only that, but a lot of them wrestle the same, so they all blend in together. Honestly,
So this show.
none of them have looks that stand out.
Yeah, this show started off with a 6-man tag as Fred Rozier, aka Darren Young, Adrian Quest, and Barrett Brown took on Mysterioso, Logan Regal, and Blake Christian. This was their typical 6-man tag. I don't like 6 multi-man matches. But Mysterioso, Logan Regal, and Blake Christian got the win. They just did they did a super kick, a Spanish fly, bunch of stuff in the match. The second match was the finals of the Lions Break Crown Tournament. It was Clark Connors and Danny Limelight. Clark Connors gets the win. I don't actually remember if this was for anything. I don't remember if this was a tournament or if there was a title shot or something on the line. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
But Connors won with the Boston Crab. The third match was the Bullet Club, Jay White, Kenta, and the Gorillas of Destiny, Chase Owens, and Hikuleo versus David Finlay, Jeff Cobb, Rocky Romero, TJ Perkins, ACH, and Carl Fredericks in a 12-man tag team elimination match.
Jesus.
Again, I hate multi-man matches, but this one was ridiculous. You could be eliminated by pinfall, submission, or being thrown over the top rope.
Wow.
Needless to say, this match was just all over the place craziness, as it would be in a 12-man elimination match. In the end, the faces get the win. Finlay, it was down to David Finlay and Kenta, and Finlay won by throwing Kenta over the top rope.
Wow.
So,
well, it kept him strong. You didn't take the pin or submission.
So David Finlay, Cobb, Romero, Perkins, ACH, and Carl Fredericks get the win. It kept Kenta strong, made Finlay look good. Weird anticlimactic ending to like a long 12-man elimination match. It ends with a over the top rope, but I understand it. It was pretty good.
All right.
Pretty good show.
Pretty good too. Sounds like a great show. I'm guessing all these have been taped because a lot of these guys are in this tournament that I'm about to talk about, and I know it's going on live. So I'm assuming all these New Japan Strong shows have been taped.
I would say that's probably pretty likely.
All right. So here are your G130 Climax standings as of week 13. We have, I guess, show 13, night 13, not week, night 13.
Week, Jesus.
So in the A block, you have Ibushi, White, and Okada, all with 12 points.
Ooh.
And Ospreay right behind them with 10.
Ooh.
Then you have Cobb and Taichi, which Taichi, I still can't believe he's getting such the push that he is. Cobb has made a comeback, and they both have 8. Suzuki, Ishii, and my favorite, Shingo Takagi, all have 6. And then poor Takahashi, the former junior weight champion, still has 0. Or the current junior weight champion. No, he lost his belt. Yeah. So in the B block, you have Naito in the lead with 10 points, who is the champion. Right behind him is Evil and Sonata and Goto and Zack Sabre Jr. all with 8.
God damn.
Sonata, like Cobb, has made an amazing comeback. He's got 8 points now. Then after that, you have Tanahashi, the ace, with 6. He's not doing too hot. He's won 3 of his matches, lost 3 of his matches. So Yano was 6, which he's finally lost. He's finally lost 3 in a row, so he's back where he needs to be. Juice Robinson was 6, which he's lost 3 in a row also. He's back where he needs to be.
Wow.
But then you have Kenta also with 6. And Kenta, you know, for being the United States or number 1 contender for the United States title is not getting much of a push here. And then you have Yoshihashi, who I really don't like, and he's got 2 points at the bottom. So those are your G1 Climax 30 standings.
As of night 13, because I think there's something
Night
going on
13.
today or tomorrow.
So
Sometimes
there are 18 nights before the actual G1 Climax show. So we're at 13, so we only got 5 nights left before we get to the finals. So, and here's what I propose. This is the last thing we'll talk about before we end this thing. I propose that we watch the G1 Climax and we do predictions on it.
Deal.
Do you agree with that or not?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, because we don't talk about New Japan enough. I figure this is their second biggest show of the year, that we should go ahead and do predictions for it and Wrestle Kingdom when the Wrestle Kingdom happens.
I'm down to do predictions, and then I'm down to, you know, we'll watch it, and I'll live tweet about it, even though I won't have any idea what's going on. So,
all right.
Sounds like a plan. And we'll do a punishment as well as always, as we do for any predictions we do. There will be a punishment added onto that. I don't know how.
Well, we got Hell in a Cell before that, and who knows what else before.
We got Hell in a Cell coming up in 2 weeks. So again, we'll have another. So
don't we have like Full Gear or something like that coming?
Yeah, Full Gear's coming as well. We've got a lot of pay-per-views coming up and a lot of predictions to do. So
Halloween Havoc.
We'll be that's just a special. That's not.
Oh, that's just a show?
Yeah, it's just on NXT actually. It's just an NXT.
Oh, okay. Well, at least there's
we have a lot of predictions to be coming. So be on the lookout for those bonus videos. And yeah. As always, we thank you for joining us. This one was a little different than in normal video, but we had the draft, which was a special thing that we really wanted to talk about. That's why we kind of pushed this back. This will be out. You're listening to this on Wednesday. Usually they come out Tuesday, but we pushed it back a day just to get the draft all in here. Back to the normal format next week. And also next week, we'll be doing our predictions for Hell in a Cell because that is next Sunday. So
right.
All that coming. We got the video game podcast and the sports podcast coming later this week. So check them out when they drop. And for Nathan, I am Ryan, as always, reminding you to score if you can, save if you must, but always suplex when necessary.
Later.